Is it just a thought? A common question or comment I get is, hey, I had this experience and it felt very real, open, transcendent, present, whatever. And then I keep wondering, is that real? Was it real? I'm not sure if that was authentic or inauthentic. How do I know that wasn't just a thought? This is a bit of a tricky thing to address because at one level of realization, everything is seen to be thought. Everything you can perceive, imagine, remember, construct in a timeline, reflect on, all of it is thought. And when you realize this in a direct way, it's kind of hilarious, very strange, but also what's left when we see that everything is a thought is such a natural experience, so simple that it's impossible to talk about it, that we're left with a sort of amused peace. But short of that realization, it's not uncommon during practice, during various aspects of the post-awakening experience, or even leading up to awakening, to get yourself into this place where you really feel stuck with not knowing what to do, what is a thought and what is not a thought, whether this is right or wrong, whether you're doing the right practice or the wrong practice. And if you get the flavor of what I'm talking about right now, you've been there, you can resonate with this, then the good news is the answer is simple. It's always a thought. It's always a thought when something's telling you, well, I don't know, that might not have been authentic. That might not have been real. First of all, it's a thought because it's pointing to somewhere that's not right here. Second of all, it has the signature of doubt. And thought often, not always, but often has the signature of doubt, of hesitation, of, I don't know, let me think about that some more. Let me subjectify back into my self, my apparent self, and contemplate that, think about that, perseverate on that, ruminate. All of that is thought. That's the signature of thought. It's the signature of doubt. Now, the non-existent ego is very clever because it knows as soon as it gets you to believe that first thought, which is a doubt thought, attention's going to remain in thought for some time. Because if you doubt something or you don't know by the parameters of the way the mind operates, where are you going to look to know? To the next thought. You're going to start thinking about it. You're going to think about, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Maybe I could ask this person. Maybe I should read another book. Maybe the answer is in this book or that book. So becoming familiar with the feeling of what it's like to get pulled into the mind, into a thought-based doubt, is valuable. Because the moment you realize that, you realize, oh, this is thought. It's just one more thought. There's a thought here that says, I'm not sure if X, Y, Z. And then you can remind yourself that thought is consciousness. It's just a movement of consciousness, which you've never been apart from as you've been experiencing yourself as I, as being, as knowingness. So now you are knowingness. Just consciousness, just knowingness. So you can lead yourself back this way by recognizing a thought as a thought. You're only lost when you don't recognize what's happening is a thought. So you could say what gets you lost is believing the thought. Not realizing a doubt is only one thought. When you don't realize it, you have a sort of relationship with doubt. You doubt, you become the doubter. You become the one that's not sure. And when there's enough of that, which in almost all adult human beings, there is plenty of that, it starts to form an energetic body, a sense of shame, self-doubt. And in some people, in some circumstances, this becomes so dense it turns into intense self-doubt, into mistrust of self, even hatred of self. So that sounds pretty heavy, but we do come across that on occasion. So just beware that doubt as one thought, recognizes one thought, is nothing. It's consciousness. It's a movement in consciousness. But when we start to believe it, we start to become the doubter. We start to doubt everything. Then we're mind identified. We're living in a dualistic experience, even inside consciousness. And that's inherently uncomfortable. Now we reassure ourselves to make ourselves comfortable in that environment again and again by promising ourselves that we're going to get somewhere. We're going to get something, get clarity, get salvation, get safety, get security. Those promises are also just thoughts. Again, if we see a thought as a thought, no problem. But when we believe that, it starts to form a sense of time, a sense of a true seeker moving through time, trying to get what it wants, it needs, trying to make the world work for it. That is inherently uncomfortable, because to do that, we have to really distance ourselves and even separate ourselves from the moment, from presence. Now, that's not actually possible, so this is sort of a magic trick, but it's a magic trick that's not very fun. It causes a lot of dysphoria, suffering. So to summarize, to just adopt the belief that everything is a thought doesn't really help too much. It has to be experiential and realized. So we have to go through that process, and usually we have to go through that process many, many times of recognizing, oh, okay, the thing that feels like it has me against the wall with this big decision to make, is it real? Is it not real? Am I doing it right or wrong? All that is one single thought. It's just a doubt thought that says, I don't know what to do here. What is here like when the belief that I don't know what to do here is dropped? It's just here. That's freedom.